My pattern recognition is one of the skills that I'm pretty good at. And there was this like Nit. Nit is like a really tight player. He would randomly play a hand and he was trying to get it to be the other player's idea to get action. So he would do something uncharacteristic, justify it, and then put in money. I had ran my roll back up to 250, $250,000 or something, and like lost it all in the game and had to rebuild again.
Jeez.
Fortunately,
All right, guys, we got Chance here during the World Series in Vegas. He's already had a good start, and hopefully it continues, right?
yeah, I mean, come out here every year for 6-7 weeks, and it's time to shine. I love it.
And your family's in China while you're playing out here.
Yeah, wife and kid just made it there. They're exploring somewhere in mainland, not sure, but yeah.
How's your Mandarin game?
Oh, it's terrible. I speak like 50 words maybe, and whenever I say something, my wife tells me I say it wrong. So,
Yeah. A lot of people say it's the toughest language to learn.
Yeah, I've heard that like some of the Sanskrits are like a 5 on the scale, which is the highest, and Mandarin is a 4. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's impossible.
Yeah. I'm half Chinese, and I can't speak it if it makes you feel better.
Makes me feel a lot better. Thank you.
Yeah, it's tough, man. But what's your game plan for this World Series? Anything different from previous World Series?
No, I mean, the last 3 summers, I've stayed at a friend's house off strip in Summerlin.
Yep.
It's got a sauna, cold plunge, hot tub, pool. So it's like a pretty dreamy situation. And fortunately, I get to stay there again. Yeah, thanks, David. And yeah, just do the same thing I do every year. I hope.
Yeah. It's important to decompress after playing 14 hours straight, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's grueling. And like days where you are card dead, it's a lot harder, I think, because you're just sitting there and time just like crawls. But when you're in every pot and like battling with everyone, I think time goes a lot faster. So
that makes sense.
It makes it easier.
How common are those days where you're card dead? Is that a common thing you experience?
Yesterday was actually probably the most card dead I've been in a while. Like it was a full 12-hour day and it felt like it was 18, 20 hours.
Damn.
But,
You only played a couple of good hands.
No, I mean, I still play more than most people, but for me, my qualifier is much lower than the average poker player.
Yeah.
I'm playing a lot more hands. So in a lot more interesting spots and having to think my way through them. But yesterday it was just like, all right, 7-3-0. I guess one of
You're going all in.
Yeah.
You're more focused on coaching these days, right, than playing?
Yeah, my family and I moved to Nashville about 2.5 years ago, and I'm working on a lot of chip leader coaching stuff. And we just launched a really cool private inner circle group with myself, Alex Foxen, and Kristen Foxen. And so we've been focused a lot on that and doing some other stuff inside of chip leader. And then I'll still travel out here for 6 weeks a year, and then probably about 6 weeks a year other than that traveling. So 3/4 of my year is focused on family and company.
Wow. Are you worried about giving out all your secrets? Like, do you feel like that could spread and bite you in the ass down the road?
I mean, yes and no. Like, poker is a zero-sum game, but like one of the issues I always have with poker is we're not really giving anything back to the community. We're just like taking away. And I always wanted to be a teacher. I had 2 math teachers in my life who were incredibly influential. One of which encouraged me to drop out of college my senior year and pursue poker. And I always wanted to teach. I enjoy it. Like, we just had a student win the mystery bounty for $1 million yesterday.
Wow.
And like, that feels good. I get goosebumps just like thinking about it.
That's awesome.
So it allows me to give back to something that's given me so much. Like, I found my wife in poker. She used to deal. I've made a career. I've traveled the world, and I'm enjoying seeing other people succeed in it.
Was there a lot of gatekeeping when you were up and coming, like trying to find coaching and mentors and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it was much less common than it is now to have like coaching sites and stuff like that. But there was a lot of content out there even from when I started.
Okay, that makes sense. Foxen was your first student, which is a crazy first student to have, huh?
Yeah, we used to do a coaching for profit where like we would take a percentage of what people cash for.
Yeah.
And I was looking for one more guy, and I was playing with him at the table, and I played with him for like 15 minutes, and I was like, man, this guy has what it takes. And asked if he wanted to chat on break, and kind of the rest is history. Mr. Miyagi story, like the student has become the master, and now him and I make the vast majority of the content together.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's fun.
He's one of the most fun players to watch.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Like, he makes the game exciting.
He does. Like, he just goes to absolute war. You never know what he's going to do. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Now, you've seen so many hands. Does anything faze you or surprise you at this point?
Not really. I would say, like, in general, I know like the options that are on the table. Sometimes something would be a low frequency and you see it happen, but sometimes he finds certain bluffs or value bets that I wouldn't necessarily find, different sizings, right? But it's those like subtle intricacies. Like, if you're expecting a bet and then they bet a slightly different size than you would expect, it's not super surprising.
Yeah. When the solvers became, I guess, mainstream, was that a big adaptation phase for you, or did you kind of adopt it quickly?
I always kind of like mentally solve is how I like to think about it, where the solvers actually made people a lot worse for quite some time, where they don't, it's like an excuse for them to just do what the solver says and not think. In reality, we're playing against an individual human at all times, and no one that we're playing against, like maybe 1 out of 10,000 people, play exactly like a solver or even close to it. And so we should be adjusting to the best of our ability to exploit that person that we're playing against. And so if you're thinking too much like what would the solver do here and not thinking about who am I playing against, then you're leaving a lot of meat on the bone.
I love that. Yes. You kind of change your style depending on who you're playing against.
Yeah, absolutely. Sizings, bluff frequency, value bet frequency, stuff like that.
Is that your main strength, you think, being able to read people?
Yeah, I think like being dynamic and making those adjustments in game is one of my strongest attributes. And physically reading people is definitely one of my best as well.
So you're better in person than online?
Yeah, definitely. And like people always ask me like, what's the difference? And I'm like, well, it's the same game. Live just offers the additional element of information, being able to look at your opponent.
Yeah. Have you accomplished everything you wanted to in the game of poker?
I would say yes. I've traveled the world. I won poker tournaments on 3 continents, and
damn,
life's been pretty darn good to me. I can't complain. And if there's one thing I want to do, it's win the WSOP Main Event, the biggest, most coveted tournament ever. And I think I will win it eventually. It's just on my list of to-dos, I guess. But it's a 10,000 person tournament, so I wouldn't say that it's something that like I need to accomplish in poker to make my career feel complete. Yeah,
you made a deep run last year, and then you got unlucky on that one hand, right?
Yeah, that was actually 2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years.
Yeah, my last 2 deep runs in it, I ran ace king into aces. And like once I got 16th, and once it was in like.
The Tri-Light from Therasage is no joke. Medical grade red and near infrared light with 3 frequencies per light, deep healing, real results, and totally portable. It's legit. Photo biomodulation tech in a flexible on-body panel. This is the Tri-Light from Therasage, and it's next level red light therapy. It's got 118 high-powered polychromatic lights, each delivering 3 healing frequencies, red and near infrared, from 580 to 980 nanometers. It's sleek, portable, and honestly, I don't go anywhere without it.
80th or something. So
it makes you wonder how much luck is needed to win the main event these days.
I mean, a ton. Even if you have a massive skill edge, you still have to beat 10,000 people. If your individual entry is worth 10 and your 100, and your $10,000 is worth $100,000, you still only win at 1 in 1,000. And so it's pretty difficult to take it down.
Yeah. When Helmuth came on, there was a viral clip of him saying how he's not going to play in the main anymore because it's a stamina issue. I'm not sure if you've seen that.
Oh yeah, I interviewed him for a podcast of mine. I don't know if we posted it yet.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So I guess he's not playing the main anymore.
He is.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, so he recently did a Twitter poll where he said, I'll do with whatever the results say to play or not to play.
Yeah.
And someone actually went and created a bot or bots to go and vote the don't. And then called him a liar for not listening. But like, obviously public wanted Phil to play. I understand what he did, trying to get the structure adjusted. It's more favorable for the older crowd. And it didn't work, and he's still playing. And that was kind of my perception of the play.
Yeah. Have you run into that issue yet of energy?
Yes and no. I take anywhere between like 1 and 4 days off during the summer, kind of listen to my body, and depending on how that goes. But I work really hard on mental focus, physical fitness, pre-WSOP to prepare for it. It's something that's required, in my opinion.
Yeah, people don't realize, but that mental capacity, it's tough. Like, I'm a chess player, and playing 8 hours of chess straight, like, you're exhausted by the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though you're just sitting there.
And even like, that's one of the biggest differences between me and other poker players is like, a lot of poker players, you'll notice if you're walking around the casino, like they'll fold their hand, they'll look at their phone. Fold their hand, look at their phone. But like, if you really want to maximize your edge, you actually need to pay attention after you fold and look at your opponents, like gather live tells, information, bet sizing tells, stuff like that. And I think that's one of the things that separates me from other players is the desire to try hard and focus at all times.
I love that. Did you ever find out if you had a tell on yourself and you had to fix it or adjust it?
Absolutely. Self-awareness is one of the most important things for picking up tells on others. It's like, wow, I noticed that I was doing this when I was weak. It's like, I wonder if other people do that. because most tells are like subconscious physicalities, and then eventually you become aware of those things. And so if you notice things that you do when you're strong or weak, whether it's unintentional or intentional, once you notice, you can start looking for that in others.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's so cool. That's the part of the game I like.
Yeah.
The mind game.
It's I mean, early in my career, I remember I like was playing some $1,600 tournament in Black Hawk, Colorado. It's like $200K for first. And I have 4-bet shoved the Queen 8-0 against this guy. And he asked me if I would fold, if I would show if he fold. And I was like, man, I don't want to show this hand. I'm thinking to myself. And I'm like, nah, I can't do that. And he calls with pocket tens, flops a boat, and I'm out. And so like, instead of thinking about like, why did I make such a big punt? Like, this isn't the right hand combo to do this with. I sat there and when I would think about stuff like, what could I have done to get him to fold? It's like, oh, I should have said, I'll show you one. You'll know what I have, or like something like that. And so a lot of poker players like would think about what the right hand to do something with is. And early in my career, I would always think about how could I have gotten him to make the decision I wanted him to.
Yeah.
And it hurt me in some ways because I was naturally trying to, try too hard, I guess you could say. And instead of waiting for the spots to come to me, I would force it sometimes. But I learned a lot about live tells, and now I'm a little more harnessed in the area. And yeah, it's a fun facet of the game.
Yeah, that's a cool story. So I've heard you're never supposed to respond to questions, right? When you're in the middle of a hand.
I think most people should not respond. I do think that if you have a strong perception or a strong belief on how your opponent will perceive what you say, then you can go for it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you're playing chess out here. You're thinking like what they're thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like live tells or the fake live tells is effectively just like a big rock, paper, scissors match.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if he thinks I do this, then, it's...
Make yourself look nervous, right?
Yeah.
When you have a good hand.
Or when you're bluffing because he knows that I wouldn't actually look this nervous. And like, so it's like, kind of like a leveling war. Yeah.
Who's like do you have any rivals you consider? Someone you go back and forth with all the time?
I would say lately, probably Artur Martirosyan. He just won the 25K heads up.
I saw that.
He's bested me a handful of times recently. Fantastic player. But there was once where Jeremy Osmus actually stacked me 3 times in one tournament in one day. In like a 3K 6-max or something a summer or two ago. But in general, like, it's just a small sample where something like that happens. Like in the long run, it's pretty unlikely for someone to hold over you for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure at your skill level, everyone's about the same. So it's just back and forth, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like there was a while, maybe like a year and a half, where I just ran so good against Alex Foxen. Where I just won every all-in, had kings when he had queens, like just absolutely destroyed him. It's evened out a reasonable amount since then. You know, like it's in 3 or 4 all-ins or, something like that, even in big spots, like someone's likely to hold.
Yeah.
Or hold over the other one.
That makes sense. That must be interesting playing against someone you coach so intensely.
Yeah, I mean, and now I would say that he probably coaches me as much as I coach him. Like we discuss a lot of stuff together. If I have a question, I ask him. But whenever you have that much knowledge of the opponent's game, it really is just a leveling war of how much, you know about each other.
What's the most memorable win you've had? Was it a World Series win?
Probably my first bracelet. I would say to this day, the 5K PLO 2010 was just like remembering that like turn card comes and like it was a coin flip all in on the flop. Turn card comes, I'm 95%. And like all my friends in rail were like getting super close. I'm like holding them back and the river is a brick and I win and I just grab my bracelet and everyone lifts me up. And like there was a ESPN 360 camera and like you could go back and like watch it. I don't know where the tape is now. But that was definitely the most surreal win, and nothing really compares to that.
Yeah, that was 2010, right? Wow, so you've been playing in the World Series for a long time.
Yeah, I think that this might be my 18th or 19th.
Dang.
Because I played a couple events when I was 21, like, because I turned this month, and I played a main event satellite, a 1K to the 10K main event. I got an aces to ace king of spades. He flopped a flush, turned paired the board, and it bricked. And so I still remember hands from like way back then. And that was 2007, I guess.
Damn.
Yeah.
Lots changed since then, huh?
19 years.
Yeah, the skill level's probably gone up a lot, I'd imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the interesting thing about poker, where like overall, I would say that there's a higher ratio of pros to recs. The recs are better, the pros are better. So you really do have to like stay ahead of the curve. You have to work hard on your game.
How much are you studying other people's game? Or are you just mainly analyzing your... I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the show a lot with the algorithm. Thank you. Your game.
I do watch others as a form of learning, whether it's a Triton final table or WSOP high roller type of stuff, whether it's reviewing final tables or students' hands and stuff like that, realizing where people are weak and strong. Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, one of the best things I do for studying is just like teaching.
They say that's the quickest way to learn even more, like when you teach it, when you verbally speak it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it solidifies the pieces of the game that I think are the most important. And it kind of reminds me to focus on those.
Yeah. What's the biggest game you've played in? Was it a Triton?
From a buy-in perspective,
Yeah.
I played the 500K tournament in the Bahamas like this last year in the December, and got to cash it, fortunately.
Nice.
But like poker's a funny game where like I cashed the 500K for like 900 or a million or something like that. And then everyone's congratulating me the whole trip, but they didn't realize that I busted 4 bullets in the 100K after that, 2 or 3 bullets in the 50K, and like a bunch of bullets in the 25K. And like, had I not swapped with Foxon when he won the 100K, I would have actually had a losing trip. Everyone's sitting there like congratulating me, and I'm like, thanks. Like,
you barely made anything.
It's like I'm down money, and then he like wins the next day, and I'm like, okay, I'm up money again. You can congratulate me again.
That's poker though, right? Very up and down.
Yeah, and that's kind of like one of the interesting things about poker is like people don't see how hard it can be sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like absolute battle, and like you could go many bullets with rebuys, entries, buy-ins without cashing and making money. And even if you are one of the better players in the field, like there's still a lot of variance.
Do you still get tilted? Do you still feel like you can't control it sometimes?
I wouldn't say can't control it. Like the amount that I tilt has definitely decreased over the years. Like I work hard on my mental game.
Yeah.
I currently have a performance coach. You know, there's, yes, things that upset me from time to time.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's more about like mentally resetting, not letting those emotions control your play at the table, stuff like that. So, I mean, I would say that no one is, Tommy Angelo is like my first mindset coach. And he said that no one can be tiltless, but everyone can tilt less.
Wow.
And
that's deep.
You know, yeah, I'm deep into poker now and studying and, you know, all that jazz. So I would say I tilt less, but it's impossible to be absent of it.
Yeah. When I see photos of you at the table or videos, you're always smiling.
Yeah, I'm lucky, I think, that I enjoy my job. I like people. I like chatting with others at the table. And I'm pretty good at turning it off and putting on my poker face when it's time to play a hand.
Yeah. Performance coach. Wow. Is that a new thing that players are doing? Hiring a mental performance coach?
I wouldn't say new. Like it's been around forever. And, you know, I don't necessarily consider poker a sport, but it has a lot of similar elements that sports have. And in anything competitive where you have to play your best, a lot of the people at the highest levels do work on the mindset aspect of it.
Why don't you consider it a sport? I'm curious.
I said like more that I'm not sure that it's a sport.
Okay.
Like I do think it has a lot of similarities, but for me, for some reason, sports are more active. Like
yeah, I could see that argument. So you wouldn't consider chess a sport?
Slippery question here.
They get you in trouble here.
I mean, honestly, I'm just like not sure. Like I can see both being sports, like you're competing, right? And so like if chess is a sport, then naturally so is poker, so is like probably competitive video games and stuff like that.
Yeah, esports, right?
Yeah. So I guess like it would be considered a sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything outside of poker you would consider yourself elite in, like top 1%? Or did you go all in on poker?
Probably teaching.
Teaching?
Yeah. I think that like when I first started coaching 7-8 years ago, I was really uncomfortable with like group calls and one-on-ones and stuff like that. But I've come a long way since then. I'm really good at figuring out what level my student's on and using the correct vocab that they can understand the information that you're passing along.
Yeah. Well,
and
that makes sense. I've noticed a lot of the top poker players are introverts. So maybe that was part of it.
Yeah, maybe. I'm like, I think in the ground you use the term extroverted. Introvert.
He's an extrovert. Yeah, both, I guess, right?
Yeah, where like I do like people to a degree, like for the most part, but it's like draining for me to be around everyone. Like at the end of the day, like I thoroughly enjoy just like chilling in my bed, watching a movie, falling asleep, maybe spending time with my like wife and kid.
Yeah.
But like big groups are not necessarily my thing. So it's draining for me to be at the poker table and do that smiley. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Like I still enjoy it, but there's times where I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this conversation to be over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely been there before. Yeah. So it sounds like you lean more towards introvert then.
Yeah. I'd say definitely like have characteristics of each.
When you're coaching, is it all one-on-one or is it group or how does that work?
I do both. Yeah. I do some one-on-ones. I do some group coaching, and then we create some digital products.
And what have you seen in your top students? What similarities? Because you've probably coached hundreds of people by now, maybe thousands.
Work ethic is certainly one thing that stands out. I would say the ability to think outside the box and to kind of understand the concept of if someone does X, then there's a response to it. If someone is too tight, I need to play more hands. If someone is too loose, I play tighter. That's like a very simple version. And there are a ton of intricacies, surrounding that. And like I have a student who just won a tournament in San Diego, one of my one-on-one students. And the way that they ask questions, like the students that I think really have a ton of potential versus some that I'm not so sure about.
Yeah.
They just ask questions where you can tell they're thinking about the game, where it's like, yeah, but if they do this, I do this, right? And it's like, yes. It's like it does simplify it quite a bit.
What's the learning curve like? If someone doesn't even know how to play poker, can they become good within 5 years, or what have you seen, I guess, historically?
Yeah, I think they absolutely could. I think that intelligence is a ceiling in poker. I genuinely do believe that. But I think that anyone, whether they're smart, not, don't have the right characteristics, can become pretty freaking good at poker in 5 years.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I guess because I didn't know how to play chess, and now I'm top 1% within 3 years. So I'd imagine poker could be similar.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you immersed yourself in it, right?
Yeah, 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Full-time job pretty much.
Like I remember when I was like grinding back in the day, I used to dream about poker hands.
Wow.
And I literally I woke up and I like called my best friend, like my founding partner for chip leader coaching actually. And I was like, hey, let me ask you about this hand I played in my dreams. And he just like started laughing. He's like, all right, what is it? And like it was just a silly PLO hand, but I used to like eat, dreams, everything.
You were locked in.
Constantly thinking about poker. Yeah, I close my eyes, I'm seeing board textures. And when you immerse yourself in something and you're doing it for 80 hours plus a week, like that's, just how it was for me at the time. Yeah. And
now you're playing with the guys you used to dream about. Must be a full 360 for you, right?
For sure.
What's it like playing against Ivey?
I mean, Ivey has always been my like GOAT poker player.
Yeah.
The one that I admired, the one that I've always wanted to play with. And then a couple of summers ago, I made a big call down against him and was right. And like that was a pretty surreal moment for me. And but yeah, in general, him and I have become like pretty good friends over the past few years. And he's a great guy, mentors me in some other areas of my life. And I can't say enough nice things about him.
I'm always impressed with the longevity of guys that could do it for 20 years like that.
Yeah, I mean, him and Negreanu and Hellmuth, I don't care what some of the young egotistical pros say about them not being good. Like, they are impressive. Like, these guys are getting up there in years, and they are still competing at the highest levels for the most part. And I think it's incredibly impressive. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're still getting better even with age and getting older?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I've peaked yet.
Yeah. I wonder when that peak is for poker players.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because Ivey's still pretty good. Maybe he peaked already. I'm not sure, but these guys are in their 40s now, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
I mean, Hellmuth's like 57, I want to say.
What?
Yeah. I could be wrong.
He does not act that age. I was just with him at F1. He told me to stop asking poker players if he's the GOAT because no one says his name. He told me to stop doing that.
I don't know. I think they're kind of crazy to think like, it just depends like what scale you're measuring on. If you're scaling on bracelets and tournament success, like it's pretty hard to not say that he is.
Yeah, he's got what, 16?
Maybe 17, 16 might be right.
Insane.
Yeah.
10 more than second place, I believe.
Like Negreanu's probably done the most for poker of anyone. I think that Ivey, if you look at like cash games and tournaments combined, would be the GOAT. And I would expect that people pass them by eventually, just
Yeah.
like any other goats, right? You know, you're not going to be the greatest forever.
Yeah. Where do you see poker going? Because I know the streaming stuff's hot right now. Do you see it more going towards that, like with the cash games and the big live streams, or?
Yeah, to an extent. I'm really interested to see how WSOP, like World Series of Poker fields, pan out this year. I feel like the economy might be shifting slightly downward, and I'm curious if that will show in the size of the fields and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious now too, because the casinos have been struggling out here.
Yeah, a lot.
That's usually the first sign of a recession.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So do you keep an eye on things like that?
You know, like I think that to some degree, my income via poker is recession proof.
Wow.
I think that like, yeah, games might be a little bit tougher, but there's still going to be tournaments. Like I can still go and play things that I'm making money in the long run.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to shift more towards the coaching, or do you want to do a 50-50? How do you see that playing out in the future?
Yeah, I am working on shifting my primary source of income from playing to coaching. You know, I've had 3 fantastic years, the last 3 years, and I haven't really played a ton this year so far, you know, other than WSOP, and I will play a lot more in the fall. But I have a kid that's 4.5 now, and I love being there for her and going to dance recitals and random stuff like that. And, you know, I don't want to need to travel and play when I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
You know, I do want to start diversifying and starting other businesses and stuff like that.
What age are you going to teach her how to play poker?
I don't know that I will. I don't know. Like poker's still a very misogynistic sport. And I think that like, that's something I think about for myself is like, if I were as successful at anything else as I am at poker, I would be considerably more successful than I am today. And I always wondered what my ceiling or path would be like if I had chosen something else. And don't get me wrong, like life's not just about money. You know, like I got to travel the world. I met my wife. I've done a lot of incredible things. But from a monetary perspective, I don't know that I want that for my daughter. You know, just being around men all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what is it, like 95% dudes?
Probably, yeah.
That's pretty nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plus, it's a very up and down lifestyle that you need good mental resilience to have to make it in poker, especially over decades, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. And like losing 100K doesn't feel or like hurts more than winning 100K. And so like you have to be very mentally and emotionally disconnected from the losses and wins.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of people come and go in your time.
Yeah, absolutely. People win a bunch of money, go broke.
Yeah. How common is that? Like the people you started playing with in your early college years and stuff, or how many of them are still around, I guess? Doesn't sound like
yeah, not many. I mean, I think Ben Lamb's still fantastic. Like he was like my first real poker friend. I started playing with like a couple of other guys that don't really play much anymore to my knowledge. But I met Ben when I was 22 and fantastic poker player. Started a online casino recently called Yeet. And so I know that like he still plays a little bit, but not nearly as much as he used to. Yeah.
Did you ever almost call it quits at any point? Did you almost quit?
No, I never did actually.
You never got close to quitting?
No.
Wow.
Like after Black Friday, which in poker world is when the Department of Justice froze Full Tilt, PokerStars, and whatever the other one was, Ultimate Bet.
Yeah.
And we had to find other ways of playing. Like most of my money was frozen online. I didn't get it for a long time. I had to rebuild my bankroll from nearly zero, you know, from like 10 or 20K after having hundreds of thousands. It was all frozen online. And that was pretty hard. And I guess I'm sure it entered my mind then at some point.
Yeah.
But I was architectural engineering in college and I knew I didn't want to do that. So I either had to figure out something else to do or continue with poker.
Yeah, you were one semester away.
Yeah.
You were right at the finish line for that.
Yeah, and thank the Lord I didn't finish. Like I just had no desire to do the options that provided.
Yeah. So you were a good student, huh?
I mean, I was fortunate because in engineering, like my first math teacher in high school kind of pushed me to do engineering instead of business. And it was easy for me. Like, you know, it was all math based and pretty lucky at math or good at math rather. And then, but the engineering specialty that I chose just wasn't for me. I don't know if any other ones would be, but I really enjoy business. I really enjoy trying to grow chip leader coaching as well as some other businesses that my friends and I are working on in Nashville. And that optimization is something that really attracts me to business a lot more than engineering.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're good at math, which is important in poker, right?
Mhm.
So you pretty much know the percentages on where you're at all times.
Yeah, and like that's kind of the interesting aspect of it. It's because like I know what I have, what the board is, then what my opponent's range is, the collection of hands that they could possibly be holding, and then what my equity is versus that range. And that's kind of how you make decisions.
Wow. That's impressive. So you're doing a lot of calculating.
Yeah, and it's like kind of subconscious now, keeping track of the size of the pot, seeing what they're betting, knowing the odds I'm getting is, it's kind of to reference Matt Damon and Rounders. It's like breathing for me. It's like that part is not where I spend my mental RAM. It's just like almost autonomous. And then my mental RAM is trying to gather tells, think about their turn betting frequencies, the stage of the tournament I'm in, stuff like that.
I love it. Are you part of the camp that wants masks banned at the table?
I don't really give a shit.
You don't think it affects the tells or whatever?
No, not really. I mean, it does affect the tells in some way if people want to cover up, but like wearing a mask for 12 hours a day every day, like can't be good for your odds. So take the edge.
No, it definitely isn't.
Enjoy it. Wear the mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about sunglasses? You don't care about those?
No, I mean, sunglasses have pros and cons. The pros of wearing sunglasses are your opponents can't see where you're looking. You kind of feel a little more invincible.
Yeah.
More confident. The cons are you can't give off fake tells. You can't do stuff with your eyes and try to trick your opponents into doing what you want.
Right.
And it's also like wearing dark sunglasses at the table for hours on end is actually terrible for your eyes. There are some like other brands of things that are like lighter and mirrored that won't hurt your eyes long term. If you are going to wear sunglasses at the table, definitely get those instead.
There's one player I want to ask you about. He's coming on next week, a very controversial player, Martin Kabrhel.
Yeah, nice.
What's it like playing against him? Because I know he gets under a lot of people's skin.
Yeah, I mean, he used to get under my skin a ton. And honestly, when I thought he was cheating at the final table of the 250K, he got the best of me because he got under my skin so much. But then once I realized, and this is my perception of the situation, I'm fairly certain that he was, and again, just my opinion, trying to get people to cheat to gain an edge, right? Like, if you think I'm cheating and marking the cards, you're going to be afraid to bluff me. Well, if I know you're afraid to bluff me, then I can basically just fold rivers or like,
right.
Yeah, I can 3-bet bluff and you're never going to 4-bet bluff, like stuff like that. And I think that it's a very slimy, shady way to try to get an edge.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be allowed, and I think his antics have changed a lot. And when he notices that he's getting under people's skin, he takes it further and further and further. Now I definitely have been getting the better of him in that mental exchange in the last couple of years since then. And it's quite fun. Yeah.
He was the first person I've seen really rage bait people on purpose like that in poker.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's fantastic at it, and like that's not a strength or an area of the game I want to excel at, but to each his own. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to talk bad about him, just to each his own.
Yeah, very interesting guy.
Yeah,
definitely. Fascinated by someone like that.
He's very polarizing.
Very.
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of pros do not like him.
Yeah, and I don't mind him now at all. Now that I know he's not like cheating and like I'm just going to get under his skin instead of letting him get under mine, and it brings me actually joy.
Yeah.
Probably because he got under my skin so bad in the past, but now that the shoe's on the other foot, it feels pretty good.
I had Dan Smith on. He said he got under his skin too.
Yeah.
He's just good at that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dan might have been the only player at the table at that 250K that
called him out, right?
Took it worse than me. Oh no, Dan freaked out. Like I was pretty upset too, but Dan took it to the next level, and understandably so. Like he and I at the time thought we were being cheated in a $250,000 event.
Did any rule changes come from that? Because he was standing up and like staring at the cards, right? That was the whole ordeal.
I don't think a rule change, but like this year at the WSOP, they are giving him like shortened clocks. Like when everyone's aware of your antics and the amount of time that you effectively steal from your opponents by taking as long as he does, they're giving him like 10 seconds to act on his hands and stuff like that. And like, yeah, it's honestly a good way of doing it. Like think of it like the optimal form of poker would be to have a chess clock, where if I act immediately every decision and then I need 8 minutes to think, like, well, I kind of earned it. I haven't used any of my time yet.
Right.
But when he uses 45, 60, 75 seconds every single decision, you're stealing the time from the rest of us. And that's what I think is upsetting. And the best solution is to give him 10 seconds every time. It's like, okay, you stole enough time. It's not fair anymore. Everyone wants to play hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like poker's obviously a game of gathering information. And if you're going to use an exorbitant amount of time to gather information, it's not fair to your opponents who want to see hands.
100%. Yeah, that was an interesting strategy to me because he was purposely waiting to piss people off, right?
I think it's partially to piss people off. I think it's partially to get information. Like, say it's before the flop, everyone just has 2 cards and people are waiting and thinking about what to do. And he has a close spot where he's not sure if he wants to put in chips or not. And then he sits there for a minute, and then the people behind him are fed up. They look at their hands. They start telegraphing whether they're going to fold or not.
Right.
He gains information, but like, is it fair to take that minute to do so? No, it's not. And like, you'll notice the high rollers have a 30-second shot clock. And this is kind of where it's annoying because he'll use the whole 30 seconds and there's not really anything you can do about it.
Yeah.
But in a tournament without a shot clock, he's just going to take like 60 or 90 seconds. And that's when the tournament director has made good decisions to shorten the amount of time you can have.
Yeah, because a lot of the players are afraid to call clock because they don't want to look weak, right?
Yeah, I think that could be part of it. But I would say people are definitely not afraid to call clock on him anymore.
Have you ever called clock on someone?
Yeah, absolutely. Not a ton. And I do it in a much more what I think is play way where like, hey, I'm going to call the clock on you in 30 seconds.
Oh, so you'll give them a heads up.
Yeah, because you used to call the clock, take a floor man a little while to get there, get a minute countdown. Well, now the countdown is 30 seconds. And when someone calls clock on you and you're like in the middle of your like thought process, it can be very like alarming. You're like, oh shit. Like,
yeah.
And I don't want it to be like a surprise to someone. Be like, hey, it's a big spot. I know, like I'm going to call clock in a minute.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a really polite way to do it.
What's the most time you've taken on a decision? What's the deepest you've been in the tank before?
It's hard to say because when you're the one thinking, time kind of melts away. You don't realize how long you've taken. I used to smoke pot when I played. And so like...
While you played?
I mean on breaks and stuff.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant at the table.
No, never. I mean in private games maybe. But yeah, not at like a poker tournament table. And probably then like way too long.
Yeah.
I'm really not sure. I've probably made some 10-minute tanks.
Damn.
Like maybe. In 20 years, maybe a couple 10-minute tanks. Like in general, not super long.
Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. Did you play better when you were high?
No, absolutely not. I think it's like this myth that like smokers like tell themselves that they like play better. They're like, oh, I'm more patient. It's like, yeah, addicts can justify anything.
Yeah.
And it's like when I was drinking and partying and stuff like that, like I could justify my actions as well. Yeah.
I remember there was one guy in the main event 2 years ago. He had a mushroom shirt on and he made it really far. And people were like, is he microdosing? Like, does that give him an edge on mushrooms?
I mean, I know. I don't want to blow the person's.
You don't have to call them out. But.
Yeah. I know like someone who plays high rollers, an older recreational player who's like a serious hobbyist, and they microdose and they have been for a couple of years now. And I think it's every other day, part of their like regimen. I know other people who macrodose. I know a handful of people that do microdose. I've never tried at the poker table. I could see life becoming more vivid and being able to get tells being more interesting. Like that's kind of one of the reasons I've wanted to try it, but I haven't.
I'd be curious, yeah, because I've microdosed and you're definitely more focused. It's like a natural Adderall, people call it.
Yeah.
And I feel like you pick up on energies better. I don't know if you're spiritual at all, but I feel like you could just pick up on stuff.
Yeah, I feel like some of that stuff is out there. I have a student who actually does talk about that type of stuff, like auras and like and stuff like that. And I haven't gotten that deep into it, or don't think that I'm deeply aware of people's energies as well as others. I've been thinking and talking about live tells so long that I'm able to articulate the little things that someone does that makes them weak or strong. And, other people are like, well, I just looked at him. I could tell he was weak. And I'm like, it's not very helpful to me. Like, I wish you could at least share the thought process a little bit better. Yeah. But, it's something that I've been able to articulate for years.
You're more logical with it, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's something I'm very experienced at.
Yeah. Have you ever caught a cheater, been cheated against?
I have been cheated.
Home game or what was that?
Big private home game. And my pattern recognition is one of the the skills that I'm pretty good at. And there was this like Nit. Nit is like a really tight player. And he would randomly play a hand, put in a ton of money before the flop, but he would always be like, do you want action? And he was trying to get it to be the other player's idea to get action. So he would do something uncharacteristic, justify it, and then put in money and just always make the best hand. And it's like, we kind of figured it. Like, I was pretty confident actually after session 1, got convinced by my friends who were in the game that the game was on the up and up. And there's nothing to worry about. We found out a few sessions later after we all lost piles that unfortunately I was right.
Damn, you confronted him in person, or like, how did that go down?
I mean, it was actually after Black Friday, and I had ran my roll back up to maybe like 250, $250,000 or something, and like lost it all in the game and had to rebuild again.
Jeez.
Fortunately, it went well for like 6 months, but I mean, it was unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, I paid and lost, and that was it.
He didn't pay you back ever?
Oh God, no. The cheater pays you back? No, that's not.
Well, I know like poker players care about their reputation, so like that guy will never be able to play again, right?
Yeah, I've never played tournaments with this person. It was just like a big private cash game that we were invited to. And yeah.
So the dealer was in on it then, right?
Not necessarily. Like, it could just be a certain deck that relays the information to their phone that tells them which hand is the winner.
Damn.
It could be one of the new common ones is like with a phone where there's like a little camera that like looks at the cards as they come out.
Wow.
Like, points it at the dealer and like sees every card. And like they have someone else like relaying the information about who has what. I mean, there's a myriad of different ways to cheat, you know, like I really like how the European Poker Tour like kind of deals, where's my hands on this thing? Face down, like a blackjack dealer.
Yeah.
And so they never get like lifted up and potentially exposed to a small camera like that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like, you know, cheat, like, when you're playing for a lot of money, there's a big incentive to cheat. And over time, people will think of new ways to cheat. People will figure out how to stop it.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like a never-ending circle. So I would say it happens somewhat rarely, even less so, like very, very rarely in casinos. But yeah, whenever you're playing like big private games, you definitely have to be wary.
Do you stray away from those for that reason?
Yeah, I used to play them quite a bit. I got cheated actually in this one in Tennessee not too long ago.
Oh, yeah?
This is a kind of a good story where it's like, hey, me and this group, we play like, I'm like, who is it? He's like, oh, we played on a stream recently. So he sends me a link to the stream. I'm like, oh, these guys seem like good action. I go to the game. I drive like 4 hours and I play. And the game seems like insane, great action. And like, they're just like battling, going to war, calling 3-bets with all kinds of shit hands. And I lost like 25K, didn't really think twice. And then game was over. Paid, whatever. Then a little bit later, Foxen played on stream with this like same group of guys.
Yeah.
And the way they'd play against each other versus the way they'd play against you was just wildly different. And I figured out that they were sharing a bankroll. So like if you and I are on a team, it didn't matter if I bluffed it off with 7-deuce against you and looked like an idiot or vice versa.
Right.
And in reality, it was beneficial because we're sharing money and the image gets kind of crazy. And it's like, oh, this guy's a wild man. And then I play a pot, like the random like other person would play a pot with them, but then they play like very good poker. And so you look insane because of this image creation with each other. And then you're actually a good poker player. It's incredibly deceptive.
Wow.
And so that was like one of the ones that I've, you know, got by.
That's a smart one. That's really clever, actually.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that.
And I don't know how you can prove it either.
How did you find out?
I just am confident like that was the case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Can't even prove it.
So Foxen lost a ton of money too?
I think he lost small, fortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for him to lose to those guys that aren't.
Well, that was the thing is like, I noticed like in hindsight, like when you're playing the game at like 1 a.m, it's hard to realize it. But in hindsight, they used like really good sizes, played like the right ranges, folded to 3-bets when I did it, but not when each other did it. Right. So like when I'm playing a pot versus them, I'm thinking they just like call a 3-bet, call a re-raise with like whatever hand that they opened with, because that's what they do against their friends. But then they actually have a completely different range when I'm the one that 3-bet them. And so it was a very deceptive way of playing. Very creative. Yeah.
Wow. Got to give it to them for at least coming up with that, huh?
Yeah. Private games, you just gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Better to just play tournaments or casino games.
Yeah. Tournaments are your bread and butter, right? That's your main strength.
Yeah, I enjoy them. Like, I think that they're significantly more dynamic. You know, the stacks change so much more. In a cash game, it's like everyone's super deep stacked. I don't think there's that much creativity in play. When stacks are a lot more shallow, it's a lot more intricacies, more dynamics that you need to uncover as you go. So I just find it more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever think about vlogging like Brad Owen and those content creators?
Kind of. And I do put out some like content on Instagram and stuff. But as far as like vlogging, it's a little bit difficult for me. You know, like those are the type of players who fold their hand and then they're on their phone creating content. And for me, I think it would take too much away from the type of poker I'm trying to play.
Yeah. I guess maybe some commentary after the game. Like you're not doing anything live.
Yeah, I think that would be the best way for me to do something.
Yeah. I like how Brad, I guess Brad is on his phone a lot though. Yeah. He has to film every hand. You probably see a lot of that these days, huh? People coming up with their phones and.
Yeah, I think they were more stringent on the people who could get like licenses and stuff, like Rampage.
Oh, the casinos. Yeah. The World Series, there was that controversial thing with the solvers. Was that last year in the main event?
Yeah, it was.
What did they do about that?
They outlawed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no solvers this year. Yeah, that was. What do you think of that debacle?
I think that it was like really peculiar because it was very clear that what they were doing was against the rules.
Yeah.
And it was the floor's responsibility to say something. The floor didn't say anything, so I guess just continue. You know, they were doing something to gain an edge, to study whatever while playing. And if the floor didn't say anything, I guess that it's completely fine. Like, I think that it was the floor's responsibility to be the police in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting one. I mean, they definitely noticed it, right? They were right in front.
I mean, couldn't have not. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like the biggest cash out of the whole tournament, $10 million. Yeah. Crazy. You would have been pissed if you were that guy that got second, right?
See, that's like kind of the weird spot because a recreational player doesn't realize that they can just like go to the floor man and be like, that's not allowed.
Oh, so you would have called it out.
Yeah. So like there's so many things that like, just like a weird example is, say you're playing a table from day one and one player wins like all the chips and then gets moved. So then your table's left with like very few 100 and 500 chips to be able to play the blinds. It slows down the game. You're making change every single hand. And I would just ask the floor, be like, hey, we need 100s and 500s on this table. And they'll bring over chips and you give them change. And then it speeds up the game significantly.
Oh, wow.
But I'd done that a couple times at last year's World Series, and the players were like, wow, I had no idea we could do that. And so like just knowing what your powers are as a player and being able to ask the floor, knowing that when someone calls the clock on you like really fast, you can like get upset and get flustered, or you can be like, oh, sir, I haven't had a reasonable amount of time yet. You know, so like just knowing what the rules are is pretty important.
Yeah, that's a veteran move. Do you notice the style of play differs when you go to other countries?
Yeah, definitely. I would say Americans overall are like more passive and weak. Same with France, I guess. But most of Europe is like much more aggressive. Asia, a little bit more spazzy, where they're like
unpredictable,
moody almost. Yeah, unpredictable. Brazilians, quite aggressive, super high check raise.
Okay. If there was a poker World Cup, you took the best players from each country, where would America rank in that?
I think number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's some like fantastic, like any country like that is IA in the country.
IA. So Russia.
Romania, Russia, like all of the IA countries are like quite good. But I think overall, USA just has the best players like by a slight margin.
I'd love to see that. Someone should make that happen.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be a
Poker World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they should add it to the Olympics or something. That'd be sick.
That'd be sweet.
Poker's getting a ton of views.
I mean, if breakdancing's in there, then.
Is it actually in there?
Breakdancing was last year, yeah.
What?
There was that Australian dance teacher or something that did something terrible and it was like memes forever. You had to have seen the memes.
I must have, yeah. Well, there's so many random sports in there now.
I know.
I can't keep track. I always watch the curling one. That one interested me.
Curling's like my favorite. I don't know why. Yeah. But I think poker has too much luck for the Olympics.
Really?
Well, any given one hand could be 99% luck, over a lifetime or like over a year or 2 years, whatever, like the luck diminishes way down. But like, I don't think any other sports have the luck factor that poker has. It's like, yeah, even in golf, it can hit a tree and end up in the fairway or on the green, but it's like such a smaller percentage of the game.
That's a very good point. Most actual sports don't have high luck percentages, I feel like. Maybe the luck would be like if your star player got injured or something.
Yeah.
So you lose, but like the Celtics, but
like there's zero luck in chess, right?
It's all skill.
Yeah.
I guess the only luck would be who goes first. Because white has a slight edge.
Yeah, of course.
But like, no, it's mainly skill. If you lose in chess, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
In poker, if you lose, you could play amazing, right? I'm sure that happens to you all the time.
Yeah.
And that must be frustrating.
I feel like the better I play, the better I run. Just be like confirmation bias, but yeah.
Is there a lot of momentum in poker?
Yeah, I do think so. But I think the momentum is derived from making the little decisions that save you a few chips here and there that add up over time. And then you're still in the tournament because of it. And so it's just like playing better.
Yeah.
Is the momentum.
Yeah. Because there's crazy stories in poker where they'll be down to the last big blind and they'll win the tournament.
Yeah. And if you had made a mistake earlier and lost that big blind anyway, then you would have never had that opportunity.
That's crazy.
I do think that's where the momentum is derived from.
Oh yeah. Well, Chance, where can people learn from you and keep up with you?
Check out Chip Leader Coaching. Myself and Alex Foxen and Kristen Foxen do all of the content on there. We have a variety of offerings from low ticket to high ticket. I think it's the best place to learn how to be a better poker tournament player, whether you're a beginner or intermediate or advanced. If you want to follow my poker journey, check out Instagram and X at Chances Cards.
I love it. I hope you get another bracelet this year, man. I'll be watching. Yeah, have a good one. Check them out, guys. See you next time.